Akira Kurosawa and Sergio Leone. These are two film directors that could be considered auteurs of film. Both filmmakers have visual ideas that are distinct to them alone, and their visual literacy shows the very potential of cinema. However, the idea of the film auteur or author is something that came into fruition when film critic and aspiring filmmaker Francois Truffaut wrote the essay A Tendency of the French Cinema, where he laments about how French cinema was suffering from a glut of so-called scenarist filmmaking. These are film adaptations of books that played like strictly commercial enterprises, whose success or failure relied on the scenarios that they chose. These are films created by filmmakers that were more interested in simply mimicking the best parts of a book rather than creating anything cinematic. Kurosawa's adaptations of Shakespeare's plays, notably The Throne of Blood being an interpretation of Macbeth, proves that he is capable of being a cinematic adapter. But what makes Sergio Leone's A Fistful of Dollars so fascinating is that he brings the question, what happens when an auteur adapts from another auteur? In 1964, Sergio Leone created A Fistful of Dollars, a spaghetti western that is considered an unauthorized remake of Akira Kurosawa's samurai classic Yojimbo. Both films are about a nameless hero who travels into a town caught in a clash between two gangs. He takes advantage of this predicament by covertly working for both sides for money. But a dilemma involving a mother being held hostage forces the hero to save the day. Akira Kurosawa sued, justifiably so. However, even though both films have the same story, characters, and at times similar shots, both films reveal visual ideas that make both Sergio Leone and Akira Kurosawa such beloved and distinct auteurs. Each film begins with a prologue outside the town, which shows the unique styles of Leone and Kurosawa, as well as the different themes that resonated to both filmmakers. Yojimbo begins with our hero walking into a fight between an old man and his rebellious son. Initially, the samurai is framed between these two, but then the camera follows their drama through this one shot. This shows Kurosawa's brilliance with framing a scene. The character blocking in his film is elaborate, often with the characters positioned in frames within frames to tell multiple stories at once. The action is naturally edited through character and camera movement, leaving the intercutting to a minimum. Kurosawa's technique immerses the audience into the grimy yet immaculate setting of his samurai films. This is pushed even further in Yoshinbo by placing the audience in the voyeuristic mindset of the hero, who is all too fascinated by the corrupt world he visits. The themes of the story are presented in the prologue: young ambition versus an old tradition. The film presents a rich land corrupted by the wealthy. The gangs here buy their dominance, exploiting those who yearn for easy money, which is why the samurai is so vital. He has no master, so his allegiance belongs to the highest bidder, making him a sought-after commodity. But he still holds himself to an ancient code of justice, and remembering this code is what allows him to give this town salvation. A Fistful of Dollars begins with the man with no name watching a child sneak into a house and then being chased out of the house by two gun-toting thugs. The scene is very Leone, thanks to the outrageously sudden violence, but the editing style is unique to him as well. Unlike Kurosawa, Leone likes to find drama through montage editing, quickly intercutting between individual shots of each subject to make an emotional sequence. This editing is effective because it allows him to keep a fast pace when his character stands still. Leone also uses this to create tension by providing information to the audience that other characters do not see. He also loves to use harshly lit close-up shots of people's faces to emphasize the intense heat of the barren setting. The sweatier, the better. The world of A Fistful of Dollars is one that is brutal and lawless. The only way to survive is to kill, fly, or get out of the way. A running motif in the film is a glorious suit of armor that the main villain uses as target practice. It is symbolic of honor lost in the West. In contrast, the man with no name is not a knight, let alone a samurai. He is an outlaw, but one that becomes disillusioned by the West. So when he decides to become the honorable hero that he never was, his redemption becomes something transcendent. A Fistful of Dollars is a vital adaptation that shows the diverse potential of cinematic storytelling. Sergio Leone used the framework of a brilliant story and adapted it in a Western context that only he could provide, which is what an auteur should do to an adaptation. Still, when Kurosawa saw the film, he wrote to Leone, "It's a very good movie. Unfortunately, it's my movie." He is right, but in more ways than one. The story of A Fistful of Dollars belongs to Kurosawa. No one will ever take that away from him. But with it, Leone proved himself worthy as a storyteller.